G'day people, today I'd like to show you my fuel efficient automatic furnace. Now, as most of you know, one piece of coal will smelt 8 items. Now if you have an automatic furnace and you only put 3 items into it, once those 3 items are smelted, the rest of the coal will just burn away doing nothing. So I've made a little circuit that will control the release of coal, so I'll only release one piece of coal for every 8 items that go into the furnace. Now we do this using analog redstone signals. Now this little circuit here, you might have seen it before, just feeds into itself, and it's currently set to a redstone signal of 8. Now these lights here don't need to be in a circuit for it to work. I've just got them here for a visual aid so it's easier to see what's going on. Anyway, let's give it a little test and show you how it works. Now I'm using coal in this demo because we don't want the items smelting, so we can keep track of the numbers. So let's say we come back from a mining trip and we've got 3 items. We'll put them in the hopper here, and the redstone signal will count down. So we put 3 items in, it's count down 3 items. Now it won't release a piece of coal until it gets down to 8 items. There's the 3 items in the furnace and no coal yet. The coal's in here, and this redstone torch is stopping the coal from flowing in. So let's add another 5 pieces in, and you'll see it counting down, and then that torch turns off just long enough to put 1 piece of coal in the furnace, like so. So let's have a closer look at the redstone to see how it works. First of all, we got a dropper facing downwards into the furnace, and every time that receives an item, it outputs a signal out to here, loops around back on itself, and this is in subtract mode, so it'll just give us a short pulse that'll power the dropper and fire the item into the furnace. It'll also pull out the same signal to this comparator here, which is set to output a signal strength of 1. So we feed it a signal strength of 14 into the side and 15 into the back. That causes it to output a signal strength of 1. And now this comparator is set to subtract mode, so when it gets a signal of 1, it'll actually reduce this signal strength to 7, then 6, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, till it's at 0. Now when it gets to 0, this torch will turn on, and that'll turn this torch off, and it will let a piece of coal out. It will also feed a signal strength of 14 into this comparator, and this comparator is set to a signal strength of 6, so it'll output a signal strength of 8, and that'll reset the system and then ready to count down to 8 again. So let's put some more items into the hopper so you can get a better look at it in action. You notice when all the lights are off, the redstone signal here turning on, and turning this one off and then resetting itself. Now remember, these lights are not needed here. So that's all the circuit you need. Now there are 2 problems with this prototype that I thought of when I was building it. The first one is because you've got this dropper pointing straight into the furnace, if there's iron in here smelting and then gold comes into the dropper, it's not going to be able to put it into the furnace. So your dropper will sit here just pulsing and releasing coal, so that'll stuff up the system. The second problem is if you actually run out of coal and items keep flowing through, it'll think it's putting in coal, but there's no coal to put in. So I've built another little system over here, prototype 2, that addresses those two problems. Now this prototype uses the exact same circuit as over there. It's just we shuffled things around a little bit and added a little bit more redstone. So the first thing we do is we put a hopper above the furnace and a chest above that. What that achieves is the dropper will actually fire into the chest. So if you have iron in your furnace already and some gold comes through, there's plenty of space in the chest to act as a buffer. The next thing we do is we have our coal in this hopper here, then feeding down into the furnace with a torch here. Then we put a comparator pointing out of that over to here to this torch here, so when there's no coal left in that hopper, it'll turn this torch on and stop items flowing into the dropper here. So if we take the coal out of this hopper, you notice that torch comes on, and if we put any items in, they'll stop at this hopper here and won't go any further until you put more coal in this hopper. So if we just leave one piece of coal in here and then put 16 items in here, when it counts down to 8 items, it'll put the last piece of coal in, turn this torch on and stop the flow of items. So there's 3 items left. It'll actually keep track of how many items have gone into the furnace even when you run out of coal. So 3 lights to go, 3 in there. As soon as we put more coal in, it'll actually start up again, and away you go. Simple as that. Anyway, that's all for now. See yous.